party peeps? It's your man Fernando G here with another edition of the Mixdown DJ to DJ. And today, excited here because my first guest back after all this time is Newhaven. What up, brother? How are you, man?
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being here. So I started following you quite some time ago, and I find your story very interesting because in your 20s, you actually were doing some sort of business. What was it that you were doing before
It
all
was,
this?
yeah, I had started a social media brand out of college, and it kind of started as something just for fun. I never thought it would really go anywhere. And it was something that just kind of took off really way faster than I expected to. And it was something that it took me down like that career path. And I kind of just ran with it for a few years. And it was something that after a few years, I kind of lost the vision for it and started falling down the music path. And it was kind of funny because it taught me so much about like branding, building a brand around being an artist.
Right.
Because I feel like in this day and age, TikTok and other short form content, it's so important. It's like it's almost half the battle when it comes to trying to market your music to people. So, and there's so many people that I've seen who like they make phenomenal music, but they don't know how to build a story or a brand around what they're doing.
Right.
And so, me starting that company, going into this just taught me a lot about that. I felt like I almost had like a step up in a way. So I was very grateful for that.
Cool. Now, prior to that, were you already messing around DJing or anything like that, or?
You know, Not really. I would say from the age of about 19 or so to, I don't know, maybe like 23, I was going to like shows and festivals, and that was really where my love started from. But I don't think I really got serious about music till 24. I had virtually no knowledge of how to do any of that up until about 23 or 24, I think. Um, and it was something that I kind of just I tell people all the time, like if you want to learn something, just go to YouTube. I think I learned everything I knew through YouTube.
Tell me about it, man. YouTube has been a freaking lifesaver for a lot of us, man.
Absolutely. YouTube and, uh passing mentors, people
Yeah.
who just want to help out. That
Yeah, yeah,
and
and that's the good thing when you find people that are willing to help out, because there are those people that'll be like,
Mhm.
yeah, no, I don't want to share my tricks of the trade, I'm gonna keep it to
Yeah,
myself. But then you find those good people that are just say,
certainly.
yep, here you go. So,
Exactly.
your first project was Baron, and
Mhm.
I found it hugely interesting that you got right away over 100,000 streams, 50,000 plus listeners, 140 countries. How'd that make you feel, man?
It was great. It was something that starting out, I feel like it's scary releasing, your first few songs because you don't know what to expect, especially as someone who never had any prior experience in music. So this whole thing's kind of been a definitely a journey and learning a lot as I go. So that was super cool. Um, I don't even know if you knew this, but I ended up having to change the name because there was a whole ordeal with there was a bass music artist
Ah,
in the scene who his name was Baron, and he passed away in I think it was 2016 or 2017. I'm
right,
not very well versed in the heavy bass scene, so I had
right.
no knowledge of this. And after my name started getting bigger, people started reaching out to me and they were like, "Yo, do you know about this guy and how he passed away and all this?" And it was something I was just it took me by surprise, and I realized like I might actually have to change my name. This might be a problem.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm New Haven now. Which,
Yeah.
funny enough, I was very sad to let that old name go because it's also my last name. It's a part of me.
Ah,
Um, but at the end of the day, after a few months, I got used to the new name, and honestly, I kind of like the branding better. But
sounds cool.
um,
Gotta say,
yeah,
it sounds cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah, but
Much
I feel
appreciated.
that Baron can pretty much be anything, but New Haven, it
Yeah,
has its own little niche there.
little
That's pretty
flair.
cool. So you have like several influences because like you're from Nashville, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Been here almost my whole life.
Very cool, very cool. And what's the scene like there? I mean, I'm from Southern California, so
Mhm.
like when we hear Nashville, we think Elvis, we think country,
Oh
we think
yeah.
different styles. So what's the scene like in Nashville?
So I would say, country music is definitely king here and
Mm,
probably always will be. But in the past, I would say 15 years, this place has really taken off in terms of all music genres. It's gotten very diverse. And I would say before COVID, there was not much of a house music scene here.
mm,
And with COVID taking place, so many people moved here from places like California, New York, Chicago. They came here and they saw that there really wasn't much of a scene, and it
mm.
kind of just built from the ground up. I really watched this place go from nothing to we've got like three or four clubs here now that are like
Wow,
they're
that's pretty
top
dope.
not like premium top-notch clubs. They're filling them every weekend.
That's
They're,
cool, man.
it's
That's
been really cool to watch.
nice. Yeah, I love hearing that type of story when you start seeing the genre just expanding more and more and more, especially in places like Nashville, like I say, where you got
Yeah.
that stigma that it's only country out there.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So your influences were like Odessa, Elenium, and many others. And what was your first show that made you say, "That's what I want to do"?
It was actually the first one I ever went to that was what I would say really created the love was back in I think it was 2016. My buddy took me to a Marshmallow show when he was first on the come up.
Oh wow.
And this was like I don't think anybody even knew who he was at this point. I
Mm,
think there were maybe like 200 people at this show. And I want to say that he had just gotten signed to Skrillex label like a month or two before that. Um, that was the one that I was like, this is so like I felt like I'd entered a new world, you know? Like
mm,
I'd been
mm,
to like some shows here and there, but I'd never been to like a true dance music like atmosphere.
right.
And it was just completely different. And that was one of those things where I knew I loved it, but I did not know how I would even get into this space as someone
Yeah.
who has no knowledge of any of this. I didn't even know what key matching was at that point. So it's something that it's it's definitely a long-winded journey.
Yeah, yeah, that's wild. That's wild. So you are now doing shows in front of hundreds and sometimes thousands of people, man. You're out there doing these amazing things. Like I've seen some pictures of you and I just see oceans of people. I'm like, dang, that's dope, you know?
It's
What
pretty
was it
cool.
like that first time you step on one of those big stage? What did you feel like?
A big stage. Because I've played the first like three shows I think I played, they were all like smaller ones, like
Mm,
maybe 50 to 100 people. The first time I was on like a bigger stage, it was nerve-wracking
I can
because
imagine.
it's one of those things you can prepare for it, but the second you're up there, it's like, whoa, there's a lot of people looking
Yeah,
at me.
yeah.
Um, and that was the first time that I had like an actual like screw up live too, which I handled it pretty well. But after like 30 seconds, the crowd was like, "Is something wrong?" And I was like, "Yeah, something's wrong." But I handled it pretty well. But it was just funny because it's like, yeah, you can prepare all you want, but the second you're in front of like hundreds of people, it's very different from, DJing in your buddy's backyard.
Yeah, of course, man. It's big. I mean, going back, I remember when I was growing up and I started DJing. This is back when we had the Techniques 1200s and the new Mark mixers and stuff.
Mhm.
And same thing. I was doing a lot of backyard parties, private events, and things like that. And in Los Angeles, there's this place called the Casa Camino Real. And that was like the venue. It was always packed, 1,000 plus people, and I get asked to spin there. And all I was doing was a 20-minute set. But
Mhm.
I got to tell you, man, when I get up there, man, my hand was like this. I'm
Oh
holding the
yeah.
needle and I see it like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And my buddy is standing next to me. He goes, you all right, dude? I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then I hear it in my head. I was like, man, dude, it
My
was crazy.
my buddy jokes with me. He's kind of my I guess my manager of sorts. He'll sit backstage like the first few minutes of every set just to make sure I'm good because he knows I get nervous before every set. And then after like 10, 20 minutes, I settle in.
Yeah.
But like every time I'll like pick up a drink and he can see my hand shaking a little bit. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Isn't that wild that even though you start doing it, you
Yeah.
still have that those butterflies, that
It's yeah,
nervousness.
it's and I don't know if they'll ever go away. They definitely get less and less like each
Mhm.
time, but it's funny because it's like I don't know. Every time I get up there for like 10 minutes or so, I'm like, whew, this reminds me of like why it's fun, but it's nerve-wracking sometimes.
And it's such a rush when you do that one transition that just has everybody going insane.
Oh yeah, this actually, so I played a show last weekend that was easily the most just energetic crowd energy I'd played for. I'd opened for I don't know if you're familiar with Nina Girachi.
Yeah, yeah.
She's very big right now, and I wasn't very familiar with her stuff up until like a week or two before. And so I get to this show really not even knowing if her crowd is going to like what I'm playing, and that they danced as hard for my set as they did for hers. It was the most incredible crowd
That's
energy.
cool.
Packed the room immediately. It was great. It was one of those sets that just reminded me like why I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that I like about you and your style of production is that there's you could always expect something different. It's not always like a cookie cutter production,
Yeah.
where you're just doing the same things. Like Alone is different from For a Second,
Mhm.
or this feeling with Autry, which is a pretty dope vibe. I like that one.
Thank
I
you.
mean, they all have a different feel to it.
I kind of try and go about that with all my music. Just because, you know, if you're not pushing the boundaries of this whole thing, what's the point? That's kind of how I approach it. Like I want every song to feel like me, but at the end of the day, it's like,
Mhm.
you know, how can I make this song different from the last one?
Yeah.
Um, which has been super, it's both challenging and fun, I would say, because it makes the whole I would say like the discovery process of
Mhm.
like, you know, where do I want to take this next track? That can be more challenging when you're not um making the same exact style every time,
Right.
but it's
Right.
very rewarding once you know, you make something that feels different, but it's still like, you know, this is me.
Cool. Now, have you gotten to that point where you start getting a little crazy with experimenting and stuff? And if so, what are one of those little crazy things that you've done that you say, I don't think anybody's done this, but I'm going to try it?
You know? Are we talking with production or DJing or
Production, yeah. Production.
production?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I've done anything super crazy. Um, There was one song I made. I'll be honest, the one track that I did, the song that I released most recently, Away for Too Long,
Hmm.
I don't know if that one made me feel like I'd done something insane, but something about the vibe of it just felt very unique to me. I don't know. And I had a few people reach out and be like, yo, this is like, it's not your best song, but like there's something about it. It's like it has a very unique feeling to it. And that's kind of how I felt whenever I finished it up.
That's awesome.
Um, in terms of like really crazy stuff, I don't think I've had anything recently, but the I've honestly been producing way more lately, so I feel like I'm heading into a point where like maybe that'll come.
Yeah. You start getting a little crazy, or you start
Yeah, exactly.
swinging speakers and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh man. So there was something that you said that really caught my attention. I'm going to read this quote from you. It says,
Let's hear it.
I want to make music that makes people want to love more and
Mm,
be our best selves, because
mm.
when even one of us does better, we all do better." Now that was like, yo, that's pretty dope.
Yes. I I would say yeah, I don't even remember when I wrote that, but I still stick to it for sure because I remember I don't know what show it was. it was a few years ago before COVID. It was just a really good show that like I came out of it and I was like, I want to be a better person. That show actually made me want to be a better person. So like, and I don't know. There's just something about going up in front of 100 or so people and having their attention for that short amount of time
Right.
and then being able to walk away from it and feeling like they experience something special, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like there's some people who like they've been doing this for a long time and they kind of I guess they sleep on that aspect, you know? You start going through the motions a little bit, and I hope
Hmm.
that that never happens to me.
Crazy. So you also talked about when you got started, you really didn't know much. Now, when you
Mm.
first started producing, I mean, did you have any sort of musical background?
No, my dad still makes fun of me because I was the sports kid growing up.
Really?
Um, I think I tried picking up a guitar as a kid, and I just got bored with it, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
think I picked it up and like I got tired of the what's it like the calluses, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't like this like I thought I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took one beginner music course in college, and I what's funny is I really didn't even understand it that much. The whole time I was like listening to this lecture, I was like, I don't like this class, which is why it's so fun. I have several family members too who they are incredibly musically talented, but they don't do anything with it career-wise. I think I'm the only one in like the immediate family who's pursuing a music career who like didn't do it as a kid or
Right. Right.
anything. So yeah, I mean, I don't think up until like I said about 23 or 24, I had no musical knowledge whatsoever. I
That's
just
wild.
turned 31. So,
And so you started off with, I'm assuming, keyboards and stuff like that, and start just messing around.
uh, let me think. Actually, I actually, funny enough, I started with very basic piano lessons. I think I downloaded one of those apps that like teaches you like the basics of piano.
Right.
Just because I was like, I had been told like, um, if you're going to produce in like a like Ableton or FL Studio, it's good to know the piano roll. And I was like, okay, well, let me figure out piano because I had actually downloaded FL Studio first, and I
Mm-hmm.
did not understand it at all. I was just like, oh, this is very complicated. So I kind of quit for a little bit and then got that app, and I was like, okay, if I can get through the piano roll aspect, then it gets way easier. And I actually did from there. That's when I kind of was like, okay, I kind of get this now. Um, so yeah, I started with like piano, downloaded FL, messed with it for like a year or so, made a bunch of terrible music, and then switched to Ableton, and that's kind of where it started coming together. It kind of started making stuff that was interesting and felt like other people might want to listen to it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. So let's talk about what's coming up next. What do you have in store for us? What are you working on?
Well, let's see. I told my friend actually recently I'm at a weird crossroads where I almost have too much music I'm excited about that I don't know what to release next, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say dropping for a second kind of shifted my what's the word? I don't know, my path, I guess, because I was not expecting that song to do as well as it's done, which is very cool because I kind of went into this on like the melodic side, like you said, one of my bigger inspirations a long time ago was Odessa.
Yeah.
So I was in the melodic realm, and then I dropped for a second, and I just realized like, wow, people really like this song. Maybe I should make more stuff like it. So I've kind of been experimenting. I will say I don't think I'll ever lose my love for dropping the more beautiful tracks. So I'm trying to balance it. Do like maybe a more heavy hitting song and then do a more melodic track. So I think the next one's going to be more in the realm of for a second, a little more
Cool.
hard hitting club vibe, and then just kind of flip flop from there.
Excellent.
We'll see though. I kind of take every day one step at a time.
That's awesome, brother. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Thank
And
you.
what about shows? Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, I got one Saturday. opening for Mashbit, if you're familiar with him. And then what's the other one? I got Mashbit, and then in March, I'm opening for Oscar Medkay, who he's pretty big and
Yeah,
he blew up
nice.
over the past like couple months.
Yeah.
And then Azure Day Party, if you've heard of them, they are
That
out
one
of
I've
New
not
York.
heard of.
They're out of New York City.
Ah,
Um, they've got some really cool YouTube sets. If you look them up, I think Mashbit actually played one of them recently.
cool. I'll have to
But
check
they
it
do
out.
like those very cool like rooftop sets where you got the whole New York skyline in the background.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, I think those are the only two I have booked at the moment, but we'll see if any others roll in here soon.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah,
listen, brother, we're coming up to the end of this little dog and pony show we call the Mixdowns DJ to DJ. Of course, I want to invite you to always be a guest. We've already had you on before with a special mix sets, so you're definitely always welcome back. I appreciate you. Thanks to our peeps
much
over at
appreciated.
Circa for making this happen. And of
Absolutely.
course, I want you to give out your socials so that all my peeps that tune into us know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at I'm Newhaven. I am the letters Newhaven. Thanks so much for having me, dude.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you, man. And don't
Yeah,
forget to keep tuning in to the Mixdown every Friday and Saturday night on Vibe 99.7. Of course, you can stream it live on vibefm.vegas and on the TuneIn app. And don't forget that now you could podcast it wherever you enjoy your podcast. New Haven, appreciate you, brother.
yes, sir. Be well.